Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Crypto Scoop FM. I'm your host DJ RSC, and today I'm joined by none other than Kapoor Kshitij Kapoor, and he is one of my good friends, a fellow researcher and analyst at Crypto Banter. He's also the founder of the Ladders Club. Guys, if you haven't watched that channel, I highly recommend, and a link to that to his channel will be available right below in the description, and I also link it up top here for you to quickly navigate. Now, if you want somebody to give you real, honest, behind the scenes and uncut technical insights into the crypto landscape, then Kapoor is your guy. Welcome, Kapoor.
Thank you so much. And this is literally pleasure. I love it how we are starting our YouTube channels in separate ways. And we'll be obviously doing good, trying to create alpha for people, but let's see.
Yes. But before we jump in, Kapoor, nothing that Kapoor and I say should be construed as financial advice, life advice, or even legal advice, guys. We are just two people sitting behind a camera in our rooms recording YouTube videos. So if you're going to make a financial decision based on anything that you hear today, that's all on you, not on us. All right, with that disclaimer out of the way, Kapoor, is September going to be Rectember? Crypto Twitter is
Ah,
full of this crazy madness. So let's start there. Let's try start right up top.
I think this is a real fear, and people should be fearing about this. Why? Because September is usually a bad month for markets. And we have always been, learning one thing in the markets, which is always be with the trend, play with the trend if you want to win, right? And that is what I do as well. For me, technical analysis is looking at the historical data and coming up with new ideas. And when I look at the historical data, I can conclude that we might, not will, no one can say will, we might have a red September. I have some reasons, like I've got numbers, I've got metrics, I've got reasons, and I'm going to show them.
So Kapoor, based on technical analysis, right? September is often termed as or labeled as Rectember. So do we have historical patterns going back into the total crypto market cap chart or Bitcoin and Ethereum, which kind of leads the whole thing? And we have proof of something like that, or is it just all mayhem and berserk conversations going on?
No, we do actually. We do have proofs on why September is usually red, and there are many reasons. These include reasons which are numbers, these include reasons which are fundamentals as well. So, first, I'm going to show you the Bitcoin chart right now and how it is red. It has been red in August as well as starting in September. And then I'll tell you reasons why I believe that it keeps consolidating or keeps that bearish momentum continuation during September as well. Also, guys, we've got one date. I've got one date when I believe that the markets are going to become bullish in September. So
Ooh,
if you look at
alpha,
Bitcoin's chart,
alpha for
yeah,
you guys. Pay attention.
no, this is excellent because I've been researching this thing from last 15 days, and now this video is going to literally show you everything. So if you look at this trend line on Bitcoin higher time frame, you can see how it was a support since April 2025 until now, and finally Bitcoin has broken down. And also we can see that this 50-day long range over here in Bitcoin has broken down as well. So Bitcoin is at a major resistance here. And for me, the first target is pretty simple, and that is this 105K region. Now, I gave this trade on my YouTube, no financial advice, but I gave this trade in front runners as well and on Twitter on how I want to be short on Bitcoin as a hedge position to my long portfolio. And that is what a trader does. The trader makes sure that he or she is managing their risk, and that is what I do. But why? Why do I believe that September is going to be bearish? Let's talk about the fundamental reason first. And that is the family offices and hedge fund managers usually come back from their vacation in September. And when they come back, they are rebalancing their portfolios for Q4. They're making sure that they're selling all the stupid things they have in their portfolio for Q4. And usually, this enables a drawdown in the markets for September. And it happens all the time. If you look at the historical data in Bitcoin, you can see here, really good tweet. You can see how August and September historically are the weakest months for Bitcoin. often marked by corrections and consolidation. Now, you cannot go against the data, right? And you don't want to go against the data. You see here, the average return for September for Bitcoin is negative 3.77%, right? So this is what you're expecting. And whenever you've had a red August, you always have a red September too. So there are patterns forming here. You've got the hedge fund managers coming back and they're going to be rebalancing their portfolios. You've got the monthly data telling you that Bitcoin is going to be a little bit towards the bearish side. So why are you in a hurry to pick long trades? Don't be. Rather, prepare. That is my aim. Plus, understand that once this month is gone, you are going to have a massive, massive Q4. And that is not me saying anything. That is me literally looking at the numbers. You see over here how October on an average, November as well as December are usually the best months for Bitcoin and crypto. Is that it? Is that it? Is it all about Bitcoin? No, it's not only all about Bitcoin, because if you look at S&P and Nasdaq as well, then data literally says that September, if you look here where my cursor is, September is usually a negative month on an average for both S&P and Nasdaq. So risk-ons in trouble, but does not end here. The fear continues. Why? Because if you look at the gold market, then gold usually, look at this beautiful, beautiful, bar chart, wherein you can see that gold usually has the second best month in September. And the first best month is January. So risk ons dropping, risk off going up. What does it say? It calls for uncertainty, it calls for fear in the market, and you do not want to be massively long when there is extreme fear in the markets. Is that it?
I want to pause you here
Yeah.
for a second because
Okay.
this is a very interesting chart. We often talk about this meme that Bitcoin is digital gold, but now we are clearly seeing when it comes to going risk off, the clear favorite investment vehicle or instrument for pro traders, pro investors is always gold. In fact, Kapoor, I was also reading this analysis somewhere. I think it was posted by a macroeconomist where he was saying India and China and a large portion of non-Western countries, they've started to bulk up their gold positions. Part of it is because there is trouble brewing for the US dollar, right? You have massive trade deficits, you have massive fiscal deficits, and that's now translating into higher yields, and investors are kind of losing faith in holding USD, right? Including sovereign investors. So my point is, with respect to this chart, is it very clear to us that just calling Bitcoin digital gold won't make it get the properties of what physical gold is or this tradable gold instrument is?
Okay, that's a really good question because people take it in the wrong way. I believe that Bitcoin can be called as a digital gold, but do not say that Bitcoin is going to have same price action like gold because gold has a massive, massive history, right? And Bitcoin is extremely new when compared to any other risk on or risk off assets in the world, right? So when it comes to the properties, yes, Bitcoin has and possess some of the properties that gold has, which is advantageous. But when it comes to the price action, Bitcoin is a risk on asset and it will always be a risk on assets, not always, until the time it has a massive history and is considered as gold. Right now, it's not. Right now, whenever S&P goes down 1%, Bitcoin will be extremely volatile against S&P and will move in the same direction, plus will be down 1.5 to 2%. That should be a simple rule in our head. We shouldn't be saying that gold is going up, so Bitcoin is going to go up. But there is another thing in the chart. Now, if you look at the charts, you will see how. Now, I don't have that chart in front of me right now, but this is a beautiful thing. Whenever gold, right now, gold is breaking towards the new all-time highs once again. You can see how it is breaking out of this
Damn, it's in
beautiful,
price
beautiful,
discovery mode now.
exactly symmetrical triangle. But when you compare it with the chart of Bitcoin, you will see that Bitcoin has a lag of 30 days against gold. So gold runs first, and then 30 days later, Bitcoin does the same thing. And I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. This is literally in the charts. And people do talk about it, like big, big technical analysts are talking about this thing. So I actually like this theory wherein gold is going towards the upside, and Bitcoin will be following gold's price action, but with a lag of 30 days.
Hmm. So now we are sitting on 2nd of September, and this is happening. So we're looking at like end of September or first week of October when Bitcoin will also start breaking out and perhaps follow gold's footsteps. Do you,
Yes,
do you,
if you
do you,
look at the
do you,
history.
do you see that eventually getting into a price discovery zone, or the previous high of Bitcoin will eventually act as that resistance where it will keep bouncing off it and will have to test that, and you need like strong volumes for a breakout?
Does it really matter? Does it really matter? In my opinion, no, because we are not here to make money on Bitcoin. We're just looking at Bitcoin's chart just to make sure that the market is healthy. What we need to focus on are the altcoins chart. And one of the most important chart right now to focus on is Ethereum. Okay. And while people are saying, will Bitcoin break towards the new all-time highs? Rather focus on if Ethereum is going to break towards the new all-time highs, because when Ethereum breaks towards the new all-time highs, that is going to be our literal run towards green portfolio. You get me?
Hmm.
So that is what I am waiting for. But not so easy, not so easy, because Kapoor has a limit order for Ethereum at 3,500. Imagine. Now, people get scared because of my stupid limit orders, and it's fine, it happens. But what I try to do is I make sure that I am setting limit orders where people have their stop losses. No one is expecting, Ethereum to come down to 3,500. But some of the people are. Let's say Ben Cowen, who we respect a lot. Ben Cowen literally said yesterday that Ethereum can come down to its 21-week moving average, which is at 3,500.
Hmm. What's the probability? Because are we seeing like massive sell-offs? Because on the demand side, the digital asset treasury narrative has not changed. On the demand side, ETFs buying last week, just last week, and I was watching Invest Answers, and James was showing this chart of ETF weekly inflows and month-to-date inflows. Ethereum clocked in $1.1 billion in weekly inflows, if I remember last week. So it's clear that the demand drivers are there. So what do you think will cause the price to drop to the 21-week EMA? Is it just purely we're looking at past historical patterns, or some people are also calling this time as different because we never had this kind of institutional capital ever coming into the digital asset space before. So what drives this price action to come to 21 week, bull market support band?
It is a combination of a couple of things. So first is September, obviously, and the second, in my opinion, is going to be the rate cuts. Now you have got this September 17th September Fed meeting, wherein we're going to have a rate cut, 25 basis cut. There is a 89.7% chance right now, and in my opinion, this is going to be a proper sell the news event, and not proper as in a temporary quick sell the news event, which is going to make the markets drop, because what we know right now is that rate cut is going to happen, right? So it's a known information, and whenever there is a known information in the market, when the news actually comes out, or when the event actually happens, we usually see a sell the news event. So in my opinion, 17th September is going to be a sell the news event where the markets are going to drop, and Ethereum plus Bitcoin are going to drop as well. And that is when I believe my stupid limit orders should hit.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay, you said earlier that this is not where we are gonna make money. So let's talk about the juicy part, right? Let's talk about altcoin actions. What can you show us from global altcoin charts, whether it is total three or it is the price action of all alts against BTC and ETH, that could give us an indication of what could be a good timing for us for investors to start getting excited again about the markets.
Okay, so in my opinion, the best chart to look at right now is total three. And why do I say that is because, okay, I'll show you the chart. It's pretty amazing. We are seeing this chart, and if you look at the resistance, this is literal all-time highs. This is literal all-time highs for total three, and right now it is consolidating below the massive resistance, which is the all-time highs. Once Ethereum breaks that 4K level, 4.8K level, which is the previous all-time highs, and total three breaks this level, we are going to see a massive, massive push towards the upside. And we can also see that the volatility is coming to zero. And how do we check that? Is via Bollinger Bandwidth. If I get the Bollinger Bandwidth on, okay, this is an amazing, this is one of the most alpha indicator that I use in my charting. Bollinger Bandwidth actually tells you how much volatility is there in the market. And whenever this blue line is at the bottom, that means that volatility is about to enter the markets. You can see how in May as well, when volatility was at the bottom, the markets dropped, right? Here as well, the markets dropped. So it's not about, and here as well, look at that. When the volatility was zero, the volatility increased and the price increased, not the price, but total 3 increased. So right now, the volatility for total 3 is sitting at the zero level,
Freaking
and soon
crazy. Mm.
and soon there will be high volatility period. Now, I cannot tell you whether this thing is going down or up, but once it breaks towards the new all-time highs, it's gonna be massive. In my opinion, the best case scenario is that it comes down, taps this trend line, and then moves towards the upside. That is what I'm looking at, which is also going to bring Ethereum to that 3,500 level, which is also going to bring Bitcoin to that 105 or 100K region, and some juicy altcoins from Solana ecosystem that I'm looking at crazy levels. I've literally, I have those levels in my head. Trust me.
And when selecting those altcoins, you said you have marked a few in the Solana ecosystem and the Ethereum ecosystem. Um, is it only the chart action that you're looking at? Because there are like now millions of coins. We never had this kind of crazy amount of options available in front of us. So can you give some clues into how do you go about in your altcoin selection process and what that
Yeah.
methodology looks like?
I think this is one of the finest questions in crypto. Why? Because you have to be very selective with your alts. Why do you have to be selective with your alts? Is because there are hundreds of thousands of altcoins right now in the market. And let's say you got a chart, a random chart of super, okay? And someone says that, oh, look at that chart. It's down how much? Um, it's down 88% from the all-time highs. And if it reaches towards the all-time highs, that is going to be 8x from the current price. Should I buy this thing? Someone is going to be like, should I buy this thing? Because I can 8x my money, 8 to 9x my money. 9x, sorry, yeah. No, you shouldn't be doing this. Why? Because this thing does not have a narrative. This thing comes in Web3 gaming, and gaming does not have a narrative right now. So you have to be a fundamental analyst or a semi-fundamental analyst to be a good technical analyst as well in the crypto markets. And that is what we do. I try to make sure that I am in line and knowledgeable about all these ecosystem and the current narratives in the market, and that is how I tend to choose my watch list or my altcoins, which is why right now I'm in Solana ecosystem.
Talk a little more because even in the Solana ecosystem, you have all sorts of things. You have RWAs coming up, and I keep seeing RWAs on Solana is going to be a big thing. Even though, in terms of total RWA market cap, they are probably not in. They are probably in the top five, but not quite at the top, which Ethereum dominates. Then there's the DeFi ecosystem, right? There is staking. What's the ideal process for somebody to figure out what the current narrative is? And then typically go about, do you just go look at the top tier, top three projects by market cap in each of those trending narratives, and then zoom in on them? Or you know is there a way that you decide, okay, maybe I should go down on the risk curve as well and look for more you know crazy risk reward bets? What would be
I
the
think
ideal approach?
I think yeah, that is really good because so for example, we know that there is Solana ecosystem, Solana narrative right now. Why is there not right now? I would say right now there is an ETH narrative because of the that's because of the treasury companies and the ETFs and so much happening around. But soon, in my opinion, you have to be ready for the next step, and the next step is Solana ecosystem, Solana narrative. Why? Because DATs are already coming to Solana, because you know that ETFs are going to be coming to Solana. You know that Solana has one of the best metrics. You know Solana is doing so good fundamentally, and now you have to choose between the ecosystem tokens. I would say do not diversify a lot. If you are a new investor, you shouldn't be diversifying a lot, because in the end, you will end up with a lot of tokens in one ecosystem, and you don't want to do that. So I tend to go with the main chain. That's the first thing. Simple, very easy. Solana itself. And how do you do that? You check Solana chart, the USDT chart, you check Sol BTC, you check Sol Ethereum, and you pick the main chain's price, the best price you want to buy Solana at. Then you go into the narrative, you go into the ecosystem, and you start checking the fundamentals, right? For me, it is you need one DEX, obviously. So I've got Radium. Then you need a launchpad as well, because Solana is the best in launchpad. Who knows any meme launchpad in, let's say, Ethereum? What is the meme launchpad on Ethereum? No one gives a damn about it. It's what, Ether Vista, if I'm not wrong,
Hmm.
right?
Never
So
heard of
no
it.
one, yeah, no one cares about it. So you need to have pump fun, right? Now you're
Yeah.
looking at the metrics, you're looking at the fundamentals, and why you're not choosing bonk.
Hmm.
But then you say, okay, I'm also going to look at the charts, because now I've answered a question, which is which tokens, because of the fundamentals. But you also need to answer, when do I buy and when do I sell? And that you can get via charts. So for me, including the fundamentals as well as charts, I've chosen around 5 to 6 tokens in the Solana ecosystem. And sad to say, but I don't have any meme coins right now, because I've stopped believing in VIF and Popcat for now. So I've got Radium, I've got Jupiter, I've got Pump Fun, I've got Jito, and I've got Bonk.
Hmm.
And Rift as
Oh,
well. That's
okay.
my, yeah.
I want to ask a question based on how do you, like, for basic investors, who are just looking at getting started, they often top lust. And they top lust because they're hearing all of this news around, oh, crazy things are happening, prices are going up, and they top lust and they end up riding the whole cycle to the bottom and losing 95%. So when you look at a typical chart, and if you can give us a live example of this, what typically are you looking at, in what time frames are you looking at this chart to figure out what your entries should be, and how do you then manage risk? Like, what are the levels that you decide, okay, this is where I need to get out of 50% of my position or 75%, and this is where, I'm going to leave, get out 95%, and then just let a moon bag ride, or, stuff like that. Just maybe any chart would do.
Yeah, I think the best chart to show here is against the BTC pair. I believe that your portfolio should be denominated in BTC, and that's what you need, because in the end, you want to have more Bitcoin after the cycle, right? So whenever you look at any chart against Bitcoin, you will get to understand what is going to happen in the markets. So for example, Sol BTC. You know that Sol BTC was consolidating in a massive range of 410 days against Bitcoin. No action at all. And once it broke down, it literally never came back to that level for 198 days. So now you know where you wanted to be, right? And at this point, Ethereum was going towards the upside. If you look at Sol ETH, let's say, then Sol ETH has been going down as well. From the very top, Sol ETH is down 50%. So you know how to rotate your money. If you are new in the markets, all you have to do is you have to make sure that you remember the Bitcoin chart like anything, plus you're looking at Bitcoin dominance and you're looking at these Bitcoin pair charts. Now, Bitcoin pair charts are very important. Again, another example I'm going to give you, Hyperliquid. Everyone talks about Hyperliquid, right? But if you actually go to the Hyperliquid watch list that I've got, here you go, and you look at Hype BTC, then I was talking about this breakout in Hype BTC, okay? And I was like, this is quite exciting, guys. This breakout is quite exciting, but it needs to hold. If it holds, then quite amazing. But now it is not holding. It has actually created a deviation here. And if I want to accumulate more Hyperliquid, I won't do it here. I'm not even going to look at the USDT pair, but I'm not going to do it here. I would rather do it here. You get me? So this is, in my opinion, one of the best exercise any beginner should do. If they understand charts, then they should be pairing against the Bitcoin pair for sure. Now,
So,
now one more example, Sol BTC, right? I called this. I was like, okay, Sol BTC is breaking out, but until the time it breaks out again of this level, something like this, I don't want to add to my sol positions. Or if it comes down here, then I'm going to add to my sol position. And I've calculated that if sol BTC comes here, Solana price will be 175 around that level. And that is my exact limit order.
Understood. Okay, so just to summarize, the first thing to do is to find the narrative, which is trending, and the best places, in my opinion, to do is to follow some good YouTube channels. Keep an eye on what's happening through crypto Twitter, because that's our source of information. The second step is to then find the top horses in that category. So for Solana, once I zero in that, okay, there is enough narrative strength. There is the digital assets treasury. There is an ETF wave coming in. Now next, I need to figure out who are the good projects within the Solana ecosystem, including the Solana chain itself, which are available to trade. I make a list of it, and then I do two things. One, I track the USD price. Two, I track the BTC price, right? So the pair of that asset against BTC and probably ETH as well, to see how what the relative strength is, because at the end
Yes.
of the day, my eventual goal is to have higher BTC per unit of risk that I am taking at the end of this cycle. Very great update, Kapoor. That was very insightful.
Thank you. And I want to scare you a little bit more about September. I couldn't
Yes,
do
let's
that.
let's go back to the September Rectember thesis.
Yeah, just one chart I want to show you, and that is the VIX, the VIX seasonality. Now, a lot of people do not understand VIX. It's the volatility index. It's implied volatility, right? Which is the volatility which is going to come in the future, right? So, VIX is right now sitting at the bottom. An average VIX from 1990 to 2024, if you see, it always goes up in Q2, and it has not gone up right now, and it will go up. What goes up comes down, kind of thesis in VIX as well. So VIX tends to go up in September, and when it goes up, there will be more fear, there will be more uncertainty. So guys, it's quite clear that you should be a little bit conservative right now. I'm not saying sell your spot. What I'm trying to say is wait for lower prices, and if you get lower prices, you'll be quite happy because you can get discounts. For example, in Solana ecosystem as well, you can get like 10, 15, 20% discounts in your best tokens. You get me?
I'm also hearing, Kapoor, a lot of conversation on X around, is this the cycle top? Hmm? So we discussed Rectember. We clearly see that there's a lot of volatility ahead for us. Seasonality is not our friend. We typically see September being a bad month for digital assets, for not just digital assets, even for the S&P, it drops, right? So there are now these self-help gurus who are coming up on X and claiming that this is probably the top. What do you have to say to these people, and how do you gauge if the market is still intact for the post halving years crazy banana run highs that we've seen in 2021 and then in 2017 as well?
Yeah, I think yeah, a lot of people talk about tops and when the top is going to come for the cycle. No one knows. Actually, no one knows what's going to happen. First thing. Second is you can only judge via emotions. And if I look at the charts right now, Ethereum has not even set a new all-time high, right? Solana has not even set a new all-time high properly. So how can we say that this is the top for the market? Or just remember that it's not about altcoins anymore. It's only about Bitcoin, and this is the top because Bitcoin has gone from what 15K to 120K. Is that it? Was that the bull market? Possible. Will no altcoins move from here? Possible. Will altcoins go 10x from here? Possible again. So we cannot say when the cycle top is going to happen, but in my opinion, when I look at the charts, when I look at the narrative, when I look at how money is flowing in the crypto markets, whether it be DATs, whether it be ETFs, I feel that the top is not at all near, not at all close, and Q4 is going to be an excellent time for people to actually make money in the markets and quit the markets. I believe September is not only the month to prepare for your buys, it's also the month to prepare your exit in the crypto markets, because when this thing goes up, when the crypto market goes up, it goes up quite fast and you won't be able to exit. That is the main thing.
Okay, we are in the last 3.5 minutes of this interview, so I'm going to make ask you some spicy questions. I want to start first with the narrative. You said the narrative is very, very important, and you said it's also important to choose, what chain that narrative is going to be in. So, in the last 2.5 months, we saw Ethereum kind of hogging the limelight with all of the narrative around Tom Lee going to CNBC, Sharpling Gaming coming in. Then you have many other companies also showing up that they want to buy and accumulate ETH, right? And that kind of created this wave. ETFs are still buying. BlackRock continues to buy. But then on the other side, you also have these, Binance crime cover exchanges which keep manipulating the prices of the token, and it
Yeah.
falls through the base. So my question to you is first around narratives, right? What are the top three narratives, high level, not the coins, just the narratives that you're looking at? Are you only looking at it on a specific ecosystem, or are there like certain narratives on Ethereum that you are going to double down on, and then some on Solana? How do you want to balance this out? And also, just an extension, what would should be the maximum size of a portfolio which is manageable for a kind of a passive investor who has a little bit of time after his day job, and maybe in the weekends a couple of hours to navigate through this?
I think yes, portfolio management is one of the most difficult things in crypto, because people end up choosing wrong altcoins and they end up putting a lot of money into stupid altcoins because they want to 10x their money. In my opinion, people should stop believing that crypto will do 10x. I think now it should be more of 50%, maybe 2x. Maybe something gives you a 2x and you should be quite happy about it, because 2x return is not less, right?
Yeah,
Now,
imagine
what
getting a 2x return in the stock markets.
exactly, exactly. And now, when you're choosing the narratives, for me, the best narratives right now, okay, I'm not talking about the buzz narratives like AI. No, I really don't feel or believe why crypto AI is gonna go up from here. I don't have any narrative in my head, which is why for me, it's simple. The DATs came in for Bitcoin and Bitcoin ran like crazy, but there wasn't any Bitcoin ecosystem to run with it, right? Now, DATs came into Ethereum and Ethereum started running, but there was a narrative of ETFs, there was a narrative of staking, there was a narrative for DeFi. So in Ethereum ecosystem, my first narrative to look at is DeFi, right? And now DeFi can be divided into DeFi and DeFi 3.0. Now DeFi 1.0 is basically your simple Lidos and Aves and all these things, right? Whereas in DeFi 3.0, you can look at things like Pendle, you can look at restaking, for example, ETHFi, you can look at Athena as well, which also comes under stable coins, right? So this is my Ethereum ecosystem portfolio. Plus, I want to hold one meme as well for the culture. So I go with Mog or Pepe, whatever you want to choose. And the simple rule is, do not look at any layer 2s in Ethereum. Don't even put them in your watch list. Don't even put them in your watch list. Now, coming to the next one, which is the Solana ecosystem. I believe that is a narrative in itself, and you should be in the Solana ecosystem. I don't want to have any meme coins there, but I do want to have launch pads. I want to have launch pads in Pump Fun and Bonk. Why Pump Fun? Because I'm not talking about a token here. I'm just talking about the narrative, because it has good metrics. And why Bonk? Because it had good metrics. I like the team. They are doing things. Plus this World Liberty financial thing, which has happened, right? So this, in my opinion, are the best. These are the best narratives. Ethereum ecosystem, looking at the Solana ecosystem, looking at DeFi plays, looking at restaking, anything which is happening or
Huh.
happening for the institutions is what I want to look at. And
Yeah.
institutions will do DeFi. Institutions are very much interested in staking. So I want to be there, and stable coins.
Okay, we're at the very end, Kapoor, but I just couldn't let this interview go without asking you. Dino coins, Dino coins, XRP, Hedera, Doge, Cardano. These hog limelight on on Instagram, on Reddit, where like normie investors are. Their friends have made a lot of money in the last cycles with XRP. We saw what happened in December, right? So they think it's going to run even more, and the way their moon math calculation, bro, is literally like XRP is at 0.000347. If it
Exactly.
goes to a dollar, then we're going to be like super rich. But that's crazy, right? So, can you share some insight with our investors to not fall for that crap? And how do you think about Dino coins in this market?
I think I had a very bad take on these Dino coins thing, the narrative. And but I also feel that I'm a loser in this narrative. Why? Because I've been in the crypto industry from like 3 to 4 years now. And
Yeah.
why did I not make money in XRP this bull market? Because I thought that I'm way too smart. I bought a token. I bought a token which was called AI, which has a ticker called AI. And why did I buy that? Is because I thought whenever retail is going to come into the markets, they're going to go on Binance and they're going to search AI, and my token is going to be at the top. And that thing went down 90%, whereas XRP, Cardano, all these things went up like crazy in this bull market. So I believe that having, let's say, it's not necessary to have Dino coin portfolio. I don't have it, to be honest. I don't own any of them because I don't believe in them. My first thesis is to always believe in something and then look at the chart. I don't want to trade dust. You get me? So I do not believe in that. But if someone really wants to buy something which is very close to retail and they believe that retail will come to the market in this bull cycle, right now retail is not there. We agree on that. So
Yeah.
when retail comes, in my opinion, these tokens are not bad. Plus, there is also another thing, which is whenever these tokens run, that is the local top for the market. So having
Wonderful.
them is not a bad idea, but understand that they don't have any fundamental, you know, positive
Yeah.
things in
Yeah,
them.
like critics would argue, Kapoor, that nothing in crypto has fundamentals. On that note, I'd like to bring today's
Exactly.
podcast to an end. Kapoor, if our community wants to find you, what's the best places you hang around, and so they can engage with your content, learn from your expertise, just follow you.
Twitter. I think Twitter is the best. Plus, I've got a YouTube as well, the Ladders Club, if you want to follow that. And now I am looking to start my own trading school kind of thing, which is absolutely free. I don't want to charge for, like, obviously I don't want to charge for all these things. And it's called Hogwarts of Trading. So where,
Love it. Love the name.
yeah, where we're gonna like learn from zero to hero about everything in technical analysis, how to manage the risk, because people are not managing risk right now in crypto. People are just looking at the charts and longing stupid things. I want people to understand hedging. I want people to understand those advanced level trading, ideas and terminologies. So
Is
that's what
is
I'm
there
trying to
a
do.
is there a website where people can go and explore what this course offers?
Not really. It's on Twitter. You can just follow my Twitter and soon there will be announcements. It's not even started
Wonderful.
yet. Yeah.
Wonderful. And are you planning to do it live with a small cohort?
Yeah,
Like a
they're gonna
webinar
be
thing?
it's free and it's gonna be Zoom sessions. It's gonna be a lot
Wow.
more.
So
Yeah,
people can interact with you and ask questions on the go.
exactly,
I'm going
exactly.
to be there. I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Let's
Great,
go.
Kapoor. Guys, everything that Kapoor just said, all of his social media links, his YouTube channel, his front runner link is also available down below. So if you're going to go check it out, now's your chance. Thank you so much, Kapoor, for coming on my show today. Hopefully, we can do a more regular, market
Yes,
commentary beat
yes.
moving forward, which would be kind of fun.
Yes, we have to. We have to. We'll get time.